The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by DraftKings 2021 Farmers Insurance Open. Picks, preview, one and done. It's all here for you. Two things to kick it off. DraftKings Listeners League link in the description of this video and podcast. 3,000 spots this week, $15 to play, 3 max entry, no rake, best tournament on DraftKings. It will fill very quickly, so go get your spot right now. Also, one of a few giveaways, actually. First giveaway, $100 US dollar giveaway if you subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. You'll leave a 5-star review, say something nice about the show, leave your Twitter handle or email in there so I know how to contact you. If you've done it before, just go do it again so it pops up to the very top. The more reviews we can get, the more giveaways we can do. But for this week, and we'll announce it on next week's show, $100 to whoever does that for us. Remember to subscribe and download to all the shows too. That really goes a long way to helping us keep this show free. As always, Geoff Fienberg is in studio with me. We have the Euro show coming out tonight, Monday, with Sky and Tom. They hit Lipsky top 5 last week, which was worth more than any of the outrights.
Yeah, that happens. It's bound to probably happen again in Europe.
It's a good field over there again this week.
Great field. I think this is the one with the Masters correlation.
Sure. But just until we find the guy that we want to bet at the Masters, they're all the correlation
I don't know. It
courses.
all confuses me, and I should be more up to date on my geography, but they all blur together.
Well, one's in Abu Dhabi, one's in Dubai, and then there's another one next week, I think. Maybe two.
So
of
maybe
them,
that's it.
Maybe 2 of them are in Dubai and one of them's in Abu Dhabi. I always get confused because Qatar comes way later on.
I don't know. Hatton was living the good by the pool this morning. Well, I guess it was this afternoon for him, but this morning out in whatever.
When you woke up, he was out there just chilling.
Yeah.
He's up to number 5 in the world.
I still marvel at the fact, and I kind of said it quickly throughout last year as I was, we were talking about him a ton. He went undrafted in our fantasy league last year.
Well, we weren't sure if he was going to come over and play
Yes.
full time at that time, and then we found out that he was.
European Tour tweeted, I think it was also this morning, him in his cast in December of last year, Pat, in his hospital bed post that wrist surgery. Good players with wrist surgery, major years. Brooks and Hatton.
So watch out for Thomas Peters is what you're saying?
Is that what he was on the shelf with?
He either had a broken thumb or a broken wrist or something. He's just coming back now.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to think, a guy had his wrist. He's like a baseball player. He's may as well just count the whole year off.
Thomas did it too. Yeah. Remember when Thomas hurt himself at the Honda Classic? That was the year pre-Brooks, I think.
Modern medicine, baby.
And then he came back at the Canadian Open in Hamilton and struck the shit out of the ball, couldn't putt.
Rory killed that one.
Yeah, that's when Rory shot 61 on Sunday. But then we all bet him at the U.S. Open, and he struck the shit out of the ball, couldn't putt, and missed the cut. And then he ended up running train through the playoffs. Yeah.
So Hatton, I guess he's the favorite over there this week, and I could assume I saw his major numbers are already tumbling. I made a joke, I think, at the Masters. Where's number went off at the Masters last year? That this will be the lowest Tyrrell Hatton ever goes off at a major. How could it get lower? But it is on the path to being lower at this point, the way this guy plays. The Masters might not be the course for him.
What do you think is the course for him?
Well, when we did our preview,
I think it's the PGA Championship.
You mentioned the cheeky Englishman that the entire leaderboard was filled with last time. I know there's not enough to go off of to call that a real...
It's not a trend. It's just something I noticed looking at the leaderboard. Holy shit, a lot of UK guys up here.
So, I don't know, but clearly, but that number's already crashed. That number's crashed. But Kiowa Island, for a guy like him and the successful courses he's had in his career, that seems like I would agree. That would be my pick if I had to pick one.
The Open is always in play for him, too, because they're not 7,800-yard courses.
Yeah, I don't think Torrey Pines will work for Tyrrell Hatton. The same way I try to will Harding Park to work for him.
He actually played well at Harding Park. He couldn't buy a putt all week.
His putting is insane.
When it's insane, it's really good. But when it's bad, it goes bad.
Like a lot of them.
Yeah. Thomas is the biggest example of that. It's either +8 or -8.
There's no of the guys that we call super elites. When Thomas putts, he wins. It's not even a debate. I'm sure there's a stat when he's ever finished in a certain threshold of field putting, he's probably never finished outside the top 3.
I can go back and do that on fantasynational.com. fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself 20% off. Big week for not only viewers of the show, but members at fantasynational.com. You know what I saw a lot of? See, woo! Tickets out there. I only had my $10 on them like I do every week. I had to start leaving him off him and list. I still bet them every week. But
yeah, it's just better.
I can't victory lap him if I'm actually like recommending him to bet. Yeah. He would make the sheet. Obviously. It's
better when it's 125 to 1 for
That's
your random auto bet, but hey, that pays for a few events.
But what I can't victory lap that. That sucks. But I can take credit for the fact that people seem to be on Siwoo. I like it. People watch the show. They're fans of Siwoo. He's a friend of the show.
There's a
so
path.
I'm very happy for him. He played fucking great.
And didn't he do the cameo for the Tour Junkies last year?
You can get my cameos cost more than his cameos. That might change now. I don't know. But I saw over 24 people tweeted me screenshots of Siwoo outrights. Mine was only at 45.
He won by...
But my top 20 game last week, fire. Ryan Armour, top 20. Doug Gim, top 20. Seifert, top 20.
Woodland? Do you have Woodland top 20?
I had Woodland to win in top 5. So didn't cash that one, but those ones were just like, yeah, let's go. Fantasy National Simulator, just like, bloop.
You saw early on Friday, Siwoo was in one of his freaking zones. It certainly continued into Saturday, Pat, where he didn't make a bogey.
He couldn't putt.
But if he missed like 3-4 putts, even the eagle putt that was about 6.5 feet, he got a birdie out of, that he could have gone to bed with like a 4-stroke lead on Saturday night. But yeah, good for Siwoo.
So here's some shout outs that I got for some people. Howling took down the PME. That's good for $5K. Matt Miller won the dime time on DraftKings. So he turned 10 cents into $10. Doesn't sound like a lot. That's enormous. You flick a dime, get a $10 bill back. That's amazing. Ryan Hansen turned 20 into $339. Meh. Jason turned 50 into $3,500. Steve Linder, 200 into $850. EJ Barnes came 13th in the driver. That was good for $800. John Corman won the $3 3 max for $1,500. And the story of the day, Malibu's Most Wanted, Michael Ruffalo does not win, but his dad wins $200,000. Roofy. The Ruby family just raking in the bucks at the moment.
As I said, there's a Saudi prince out there that might like trade his spot with Ruby's in life. Oh my God, what a killer. And Ruby's out in Mexico and he gets informed his dad just dropped a $200K. The guy put in like $200 into DraftKings.
It was I think it was 300 total.
You're like looking to see, okay, where are all these entries from? There's literally like 3 entries a tournament and then some singles. Amazing one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in a DraftKings screenshot.
The funniest thing too is that the lineup that he won him with, because there was a couple like single entries along the way, that lineup wasn't in one of the single entries, but it was good enough to take down the giant $12 for $200K.
And I don't know, apparently credits all Fantasy National. So there it is, another spokesperson for the game.
I mean, Ruby's had a lot of success with Fantasy National. He had said that he wants to. So here's what he said. He's going to give away $100 to someone to play, and he's going to like DM them or PayPal them $100. So you have the giveaway with me, where if you leave the 5-star review, you're in the draw for $100, which we'll announce on next week's show. Also, if you subscribe right now to Mayo Media Network on YouTube, if you have a Gmail account, you can accomplish this, and then just tweet at me, "Hey, I did it." Just do that. Just tweet to me, "Hey, I did it." Ruvy's giving away $100 too as a give back to the people who watched the show. Thought that was very generous of him. He's got $200K, but he's going to give away one.
Well, it's 100. His dad's. I think I don't know.
Well, he won the $200K in like August at the Wyndham. But then he hit Carlos Ortiz and won a whole bunch more money too.
Oh, there have been a bunch of him, and in between also. And he's gotten into the cards. Oh, and he's pulled some gem. He pulled a 101 Mahomes auto like a week ago.
He's riding a heater. It's been quite the year for Rufy.
He's stacking years.
Let's talk American Express.
Love that guy's.
I was sweating the top 20 market.
He's an interesting guy.
I didn't really care what was happening at the top, but Finau, man, what's going on?
Did he even play poorly yesterday?
No, he played well enough.
He went into
the water on the par 5, and that was the end of his day. And Wu played awesome. Like Cantlay gave him a real. Cantlay shot say he almost went full Duval at this tournament.
There's
He needed the
multiple
59.
ways to like look at it again with Finau. There's a lazy way to break it down. How do I be nice while still being supportive? His putting is his goddamn weakness, and he doesn't hit enough putts, especially on Sunday. He got it going early, made birdies quick, made a nice par save on 2, and then he misses like a 6 and a 4 footer before he's off the back 9. Ball striking's great. You don't win. Like, once in a blue moon, a guy truly wins without having to putt, at least on Sunday. You might escape 3 days without putting. You gotta putt on Sunday.
Or bank it on one of the other days.
And he doesn't. It's not even like someone, there are things that, want to be nice, and I want to be nice. I'm highly supportive. That's just not even like he's played horrible on Sundays. But he didn't shoot 9 under. He didn't shoot what Cantlay shot. So he would have been DOA even if he doesn't go in that water. He simply doesn't putt enough. I've broken it down simply, and after debating it yesterday morning, I think before even the golf went off, this simply. The fact that Tony doesn't have multiple wins post like 17, 18, literally, I can't deny, it's undeniable. He lacks something that like we know Patrick Reed has, that like I believe like a Berger has.
Or
like
Siwoo Kim.
This like clutch. The fact that he hasn't won multiple times, he's clearly lacking like a clutchness. The fact that he hasn't won one time, to me, is just simply bad luck. To me, like, I cannot find a way to chalk it up to anything other than bad luck, and winning is hard. Because I don't know how he can't find one. I don't know how. Webb hits 2 20-footers on him in Phoenix. Like, is he mentally weak in your mind if
No.
Webb doesn't drop 2 20-footers? I'm not saying you're calling him mentally weak. I'm saying people call him mentally weak, but the second he would have won one, like Detroit Open, therefore he's no longer mentally weak? Like, because that's the margin and threshold from being weak or not weak in people's minds, then to me that's crazy. And to me, it's bad luck.
It'd be one
I
thing
don't
if he
know.
was going out with 3-stroke leads every time and gagging it away, but he's not even really. The only time I can remember him playing like poorly on a Sunday when he had a chance to win was when Michael Thompson won the 3.
Detroit, yeah.
No, that was Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota.
But like
Detroit was Bryson.
he played well yesterday.
fine.
Cantlay played better. Siwoo shot what, 9 under, 8 under? Like, that's a fucking day, man.
Yeah, he wasn't doing that. He wasn't
No,
doing
but
that.
that's a tough ask from anyone. And if one or two guys in the field is going to go out and do it against you, like, what are you going to do? He got outplayed. He didn't gag away the tournament. He just lost. Even at Memorial, like, that was a tougher one. But, like, Rahm and Palmer both played well that day. And then Finau struggled a little bit, tried to battle back. I think he came 3rd. But we've been seeing this.
And even Phoenix is really the only one. I don't remember where Xander caught him. But Phoenix is truly the one where, like, you're like, he's winning. Like, where the trophy literally felt like it got taken from him. I don't know.
Xander passed him from, like, 8 back in China, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I woke up the next. Yeah, that's where that was. I was trying to remember. Because people are hard on Finau, but you have to remember, he's only been leading 2, and it was Webb and Xander who took them. But the contention rate is insane. To me, calling him mentally weak is lazy and unfair. If you know anything about his journey, it's impossible to be there to be weak, and it's impossible to get up from all the body blows he's taken on, say, a Sunday, to show up the next Sunday to take him again if he's mentally weak.
It'd be a nice story if he could win this week.
What you have always said, and I've piggybacked your point, he literally has the identical chance of winning a major as he does an AMEX.
Yeah.
Like, one week he's going to do that Siwoo Sunday, and he's just going to win. And I have no idea. Like, it could just be in Minnesota, muck, or it's going to be amazing, and there's no rhyme or reason to it. From a betting perspective, though, outright, straight up, it's hard, because these are numbers where you can just line guys that do win tournaments for 10 more points across the board, or 50 more points.
Yeah, that's
You're going to just get guys that win. Maybe.
That's the biggest issue with Finau. It's been that way for the past 2 years.
But you roster him on DraftKings. No one.
Oh, yeah,
everyone loves it.
Yeah, everyone loves
you prop
Tony
him,
on
You
DraftKings.
prop him. You pick him in a head-to-head versus another guy in his tier.
But
that's just fine.
His outright win odds have been unbettable for 2 years.
Yeah.
He is given the credit of someone who wins like every 5 tournaments, and he has 1 win in 5 years. Reed is like, he just kind of jump ahead. Like Reed is 6 points behind him on DraftKings Sportsbook in terms of outright win odds this week. And I agree, on paper, this is a much better course for Tony Finau. I'd still rather bet Patrick Reed to win every time.
Yeah, but maybe if it was like a head-to-head, that's a different story.
I agree.
But 100%. There are like some glimmer of moments where we do catch Finau. There were some big events last year where he like flirted with like 40, even on some of like the better offshores that give fancy stuff a 50. But you're right. When he shows form, his number gets crunked, but he doesn't have the trophy with the number shrinking, and it's just a hard number to bet. Even yet, you can't. Even yesterday, for anyone to have like bet that live at like plus 280, 300, crazy to me. And I like the guy, and I want him to win because I hate having to do this 4 times a year. And it'll be fun when he wins. It'll be fun. And I just feel bad for I feel most hard for his kid because no one seemed more hurt when he lost in Phoenix last year. Because this is just like this 11, 12-year-old kid, Pat, that just wants to run on the green with his dad getting a trophy. Because he's seeing all the other kids of dads who are good at golf get to do it.
Will it be everyone's favorite story when he finally wins? Because no one roots against Tony Finau, I don't think. Everyone likes Tony Finau.
Everyone likes him, even the broadcast. Yeah, I guess. He's going to be on the Ryder Cup team, right?
Yeah. He's going to top 5 every tournament.
Yeah, everyone likes him. He's a hard guy not to like.
He top 5 last time that a major was at Whistling Straits, so.
I don't know what.
When day one, Finau.
Yeah,
top 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope when he wins, I'm rostering him in DraftKings because it seems like it'll be really hard to bet.
I'm not surprised because Paul made mention of this to me because Siwoo was. I saw some people with 66s out there. Those were fantastic numbers. Where we had him available, he was 45, 50 in some spots. But it's very rarely that you see Siwoo's odds get down to that point. But he had been playing so well that makes a lot of sense. And then Paul said, gone are the days of the 125, 150 Siwoo numbers. I disagree. Two missed cuts in a row, he's back to 150.
2 missed cuts where everyone is there? Because who was there? Rahm leaves, and then Patrick Cantley's the best player. Everyone shows up. Siwoo's 100-1 golfer.
Not at this moment because he just won, but
we'll wait till we get to other places.
WGC Mexico will be the first one that we see.
It was a Pete Dye course, and that Dodd is always there, and he's so reliable. There are people that like him because of you, but there are also just people that will blindly pick him in those spots in the same way I'll stupidly overbet Kevin Kisner in the similar spots. Siwoo really brings her home.
Yeah, Siwoo has won Wyndham, which is the closest Pete Dye corollary to Pete Dye courses of things that we've seen. He's come second at Harbour Town. He's won the Players. He's now won here, and getting the extra round at the Pete Dye course for this year only really seemed to benefit him. And we see it. It's funny. I think I made the comparison a few years ago that when he's on, when Rory's on and he can't miss?
Oh, you see it.
Siwoo is the same way. It just happens once a year.
It happens less often, but Friday afternoon, I think I said it on Geoff Fienberg show, I'll, be back on Wednesday nights, FTN Daily. Pat, I said, as I was going, you could tell, the irons were on, and that means trouble for absolutely everybody.
It's usually,
and he's gone to these California golf courses and stuck the ball there before. Was it here?
No, it was Riviera.
A couple years. I was like, oh my.
Yeah, he went Riviera and Pebble back-to-back top 5s.
Okay, that's
right. Yeah, he's an excellent player. It just sometimes
25 years old only, right? So military's calling.
But this win probably gets him into the Olympics, which might be canceled now. But if it goes, he can medal there and get out of the military.
Tim Hard cursed the Olympics.
I forgot about that. That's probably why his Super Bowl pick came through. He's really looking for a lot of credit here.
I can't not give it.
We did give it though. Now he's asking for more. I don't know what he wants for credit. Like, yeah, Tim, you were right. We announced it that you were right. It's very good. You're right. Congratulations on a great pick. Doesn't make up for the 10,000 horrible picks. That's the part that he seems to miss out on. He wants all the credit for the good picks and none of the credit for the bad picks. What else do we got? Tiger's out. Back surgery coming up. Don't know when we're going to see him again. This would usually be when we see him.
Should we cash out of our Open Championship future?
Yeah, it's still paying full.
Is that something we should think about? Because our other future's playing this week, and we're going to protect it.
Yes, of course. That number's been bet down as well.
The future or this week?
The future.
Okay, because I haven't made it. Okay. It sucks. I don't know.
Do we see him by Augusta, do you think?
I'm not sure because the headline said procedure, but then you see always snarky Graham Dillette on Twitter say things like, I've had this. Shit ain't no procedure.
Should we get Graham Dillette as like a person on this show? I feel like he would fit in very well. Canadian, snarky.
Yeah, no,
he's a pro player.
He had a great tweet yesterday. Like, do you think like golf fans in 1920 got mad when people started breaking 80? Or something like he very, because there's always like people are attacking, the current tour pro for their equipment and the ball, what have you.
They can all use the same equipment.
Yeah. I don't remember where I was. Oh, Dillette's saying that's no procedure. Like that is not a procedure. Coming from a man that has had it, to call it a procedure is really disingenuous. So is that like him just trying to not like to keep people calm and concerned? I don't know. I'm nervous. Every time they open them up, I'm nervous, but I don't think it changes the trajectory for what we realistically expect.
Did you watch the doc?
Yeah.
It was okay.
It was okay. I'm like usually the type that gets hyper defensive and triggered. Like this
really?
Yeah.
Like when you got triggered by those Justin Rose pictures this morning?
Oh my God.
Why can't you just let the guy be? I don't understand it.
He wants I see what he's trying to do. First of all, I see it. Don't worry. Yeah, I do.
Do you?
He wishes he was like cool and witty, like a Hatton, like a Stenson, like a Pepperell, but he just tries so hard and sucks.
I think you're projecting yourself onto Justin Rose.
No.
That's why you get so like up in arms about it, because there's no real reason.
What do you mean projecting myself? In which way?
You wouldn't get mad about this if there wasn't something in you that wanted what Justin Rose has. And
I want to have that swing
and to live that life. And that's the only thing I can possibly think.
Sure, I'm jealous of every pro golfer.
It seems like you're especially
jealous of Brian Gay. What's your point?
I just don't understand.
He wears block glasses.
But I guess the point is there's something about Justin Rose that really gets to you. That
his social media persona, him.
But why does it bother you? I don't understand it.
I have a friend who like people their whole lives, and then they turn like a certain age and they try to change like who they are. It's really humorous.
Well, maybe he just started getting into social media.
No, he this all goes back to something. I don't want to like wind this up. But like you can't be like I want to say it properly because you're going to clip it. But you can't be so like nondescript and boring and like laissez-faire forever. And then all of a sudden like try to be like, oh, I'm 38 and I'm this like really cool guy. Look at me.
But what evidence did we have before that he was? We never saw anything from him. Maybe he decided, hey, I'm going to open up my personal life with this. I just don't. It's not that I care what he does or what he doesn't do.
Don't disagree with me. You question me on it. The majority of people don't disagree.
I agree that people agree with you on it. They find it weird and whatever. I just don't understand. Every time it comes out, it just bothers you.
Wiley's worse than me,
and that bothers me.
I'm not trying to like deflect blame when
you are deflecting blame.
Oh, you just hit that person. Well, that person hit them too. Wiley's like worse than me. Well, but I think we captain this movement. And people carrier pigeon these things to me. I don't even follow him.
Why don't you just let the guy live his life? He wants to do this, let him do it. And you're sitting here like, I fucking hate Justin Rose. What an asshole.
I don't hate him.
He's just taking a picture of himself in Dubai. It looks like fun.
I point out that he uses Twitter like he's a 13-year-old girl at Twitter's infancy. Like, hey, I'm going to the mall today.
Well, I think those pictures are just from Instagram.
Or from like the Chargers, like going to PF Chang's for dinner.
Yeah.
like that's what...
I completely do not understand why you get so upset about it. That's why I think that it shifts back to you, that there's something that
I'm jealous of every pro golfer.
I don't care about that, but you don't make a stink about every pro golfer. You make a stink about Justin Rose.
They're not all phony as fuck.
There's something
to me.
about Justin Rose that you see in yourself
phony
that
guys,
makes you...
No.
Are you a secret phony?
I don't think so. I think I'm on here pretty genuine
I
every
don't
real.
know.
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what it is.
AMA. We could have an AMA and we can get to the bottom of it if you think that. But even in general, like I think even Brooks to a certain extent, who's another player I like to have fun with on the internet because I think he's incredibly phony. So that's it. I just like, if I see someone being phony, I say something.
Is that because you're a secret phony? Is that what you see? You're like, oh, I'm living this lie, so I need to out these people so people think I'm not a phony. Because that's what it seems like.
I don't know what lie I'm living.
Well, neither do I. I'm trying to figure out what the root of this is.
I'm so boring that I'm not trying to phony. If I'm trying to phony my way into anything, that would be pretty hard, other than pretending I know what I'm doing sitting across from you.
Well, our results show that. People know we're not good at this.
And other people would claim I'm fortunate to be your dingleberry. But other than that, I don't think I'm a phony. I'm pretty real. I put my craziness out here. Thankfully, football season's ending soon, and there'll be less time for you people to see how crazy I am. Although, as I've said many times on the football show, I don't think I'm any more crazy than I've always been. You people are just getting to know me better.
A lot of Geoff this year. That is true. More Geoff than ever on the Pat Mayo Experience. Longer shows. I'm doing a live chat this week, too. Noon Eastern, Wednesday.
For golf. Yeah.
Yeah, no football this week. Let's fire up the golf chat.
Torrey, though, right? This is like the start of golf.
I don't know if people are going to consider it that way now.
Without
Tiger.
I know, but like, you're right. But it's like Torrey, Phoenix, Riviera, Pebble, Florida. Like, we're on, baby.
Yeah, and Mexico's even off. It's Florida now. WGC Mexico in Florida.
Yeah, I like how they were showing Rory stats. Oh, never mind. It's just like he never won.
You're just like, I hate Rory working out. What a phony.
No. Rory looks yoked.
Of course he does.
Rory's more yoked than normal, or he was just wearing a smaller shirt.
Oh, he wears small shirts. What a phony.
I don't
Where's all this stuff at? Why is it just Justin Rose?
Because Rory has been acting the same since he was 18 years old.
So you say that people have no capacity to change?
Not on that macro level.
Or let you into their lives a little bit more. The people who seem to have the biggest problem with it are the people who just sit at home and do nothing. Seems like you're.
I do a lot of nothing.
You're jealous of Justin Rose and the places that he goes.
I'm jealous of every pro golfer, man.
Yeah, but you only have the problem with Rose. That's again,
Rose
I don't understand.
Rose is low-hanging fruit. He's low-hanging fruit.
It's just like when Tim was jealous.
Why don't I call Eddie Pepperell a phony?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to get to the root of.
Because I don't believe he is.
Okay. It's like Tim was very triggered. Tim was very triggered that Justin Rose was able to do a real pull-up. Are you now mad at Justin Rose that he works out?
No.
Oh, he never worked out before that I saw. What a phony.
But the like photo sequencing is worth me having a bit over. Okay? He's so strange. He's so weird to me.
Okay.
He's a guy that, like, when everyone shows up again, you'll have big numbers. I mean, we were seeing big numbers trending on him last year, but...
Yeah, how did he play in Europe this week? He was over there last week, or he's over there this week.
He was there. He's still there. I don't know. He's like 25 to 1.
I knew he was there because I saw the picture.
Yeah, he saw the picture. Probably because people tweeted at me.
PGA Gambling Feed is starting up. I appreciate everyone who reached out, especially those of you who work at TV networks, about what is going on with this feed. I'm happy for it, though. This is step one.
100%.
If people don't know, there's going to be a new alternate feed for golf that is gambling related only. It's going to be on NBC Peacock streaming. And they seem to have one guy who knows about gambling and two people who don't know about gambling. But I'm assuming it's for... I've always thought that the best way to do this would be to really cater towards the person who is betting on this. This seems like a play to introduce people.
More than the cater to the gambler.
Exactly.
Because it's two Golf Channel hosts and a bookmaker. You got to get to endear yourself to the gambler. You got to show me you got skin in the game. Right? I think that's what endears people to us.
I don't necessarily know if it's skin in the game because I don't really believe in that. It's like...
sure, you could have a $5 bet doesn't make you more qualified
than the guy who bets $10,000. It just means the other person is richer.
No, I was saying then the odds maker per se.
Well, no, it's not the odds
Gamblers
maker.
can smell a phony.
I would agree with that.
Speaking of phonies.
Jeff's never actually bet on anything in his life, so... That's where all this phoniness is coming from. The biggest thing with this, though, if this is like the breach into converting people from Golf Channel who've never bet in their lives, because this is a discussion that I had, like Moose and I have all the time. Because he really approaches, like, if people don't know, Moose and I founded Fantasy National. And I found that in my conversations, both with him and different outlets, that the biggest question is, how do you take my dad or someone who watches golf or someone who just plays golf and get them to bet $100 on something? How can you make that as easy as possible, not as complicated as possible? I don't know if this is the right route because it's going to be buried on Peacock. That's the part of this that doesn't make sense. I agree. That's why I would think that this feed in particular and where it's being aired should cater more to the hardcore gambler / DraftKings player. Maybe DraftKings will end up coming out with their own feed for something like this because they're a partner just like PointsBet is, which PointsBet is like the gambling sponsor of this type of show. Because it's on streaming, I would think that the people with skin in the game who are betting online or playing on DraftKings would be the market to go out and buy Peacock solely for this service to go watch it. I don't know if 55-year-old dude who has a membership at a golf club is going to be like, well, I just turned on Golf Channel and watch it. Now I got to turn on like Peacock streaming. Like it should just be on Golf Channel. Like have the alternate feed on Golf Channel against the tournament. If NBC owns both and just do it at the NBC tournament, that would be the better play, I would think.
I guess, but as we've noticed, Golf Channel has a lot of commitments. When they go to one event, goes to network. It's like ladies or champions come on to their network. So this is a great first step. This is a great first step, and I blindly assume that two Golf Channel hosts and a bookmaker won't be what like the audience of this show might be looking for, but I think it's a great first step to get to where people who enjoy this show want that to be. You can't get to like the process has to begin. And there was a lazy rollout last year, I think, for something that Action did that didn't go over well because I don't think they picked hosts properly.
Did they have Rovell?
They did like a live watch along with like Rovell.
Oh.
Remember, he didn't even know who Hadwin was or something.
I can assure you, I didn't tune into anything.
No,
like
but
I mean, they have Sobel and they have Pete. Just put those two guys.
Sure.
That's the move.
Yeah, they could have done that, but this is how they rolled that out last year.
But again, it's the same Rovell discussion that we always come back to. When a guy has like 3 million Twitter followers, once he retweets it, it's going to be the most watched ones out of all of those. So you have to have him on it.
There it is, right? But I'm just saying, like, so they'll figure it out if they're committed to it. They'll figure it out, and this is a good first step. I don't have any like real complaints. I'm not triggered. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's one more feed that we get. It might show us shots that we don't see on the other.
That's my other thing. Do they get like access to stuff that we can't see?
I don't know, and that's all going to be a part of the rollout.
Peacock bought the wrestling for $1 billion.
I saw that. So does that mean WWE Network is gone?
Apparently, it is gone, and they can just bundle it. It's in a Peacock bundle now. Pretty much.
I wonder if there's an out
in Canada, though. It still exists.
Well, I was gonna say, I wonder if there's an out for the WWE after a certain time. Be like, oh, we can bring all our content back to our streaming service, and they're basically like leasing it for $1 billion over a certain amount of time. I don't know. But back to this broadcast, I really hope it talks about gambling in a smart way and betting on it in a smart way. I would say that we talk about it in like the stupidest way possible. Let's bet this guy. But at least have a conception. The one biggest thing that I've noticed, whether it be football, golf, whenever people try to incorporate gambling and gambling odds, especially into a broadcast, they seem to be unaware of what odds are.
Yeah. But this isn't just with golf. This is like
No, it's across all sports.
All sports, as they've tried to sort of introduce it. And whether you're like me, you listen to like local radio or Sirius or some of the main network stuff, hearing like that hard and true like broadcaster guy now like give you a line, and you could just tell by his delivery, he doesn't have a clue. And the vocabulary of it, like it's very easy to get. You know right away if a guy gets it or he doesn't. Like right away almost.
It's true. So I think that the viewers and listeners of this show should tweet at Peacock, at Golf Channel. You want to see Geoff and Pat do this broadcast instead of the people they got going.
Listen, I see how many views your little videos get.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You do the videos for PGA
Oh,
Tour.
for PGA Tour. I thought you meant this one. I was like, yeah, of course you do. We do the show every week.
Sorry, well, no. I meant the ones that are actually affiliated with that major partner that hosts the tournaments.
Yeah, well, and DraftKings is a partner as well, so I feel like they should get us into the mix here.
So honestly, I see these rumblings and I'm expecting you almost to be like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. I just didn't tell you about it.
I appreciate everyone who did reach out, though, and hit me up this morning about it. That was very nice. Let's get into the tournament. Torrey Pines, 2 courses, site of the 2021 U.S. Open. That will be later on this year. That will only be played at the South Course. However, this week we're split the first 2 days between the South Course, which where they will play both weekend rounds. It's long. It's almost 7,800 yards. It's a par 72. You're probably very familiar. Tiger won here against Rocco Mediate on one leg. You just watched the documentary. You saw a lot of this course. I would, before making any bets, which I have not followed this advice, I would check the wind for the week because we know it can get a bit dicey at Torrey Pines South being directly on the coast. Brant Snedeker being the biggest benefactor of that, chasing down our Jimmy Walker that one year when he was like the only guy below.
KJ Choi was in that too?
KJ Choi. Scott Brown shot like 90 on Sunday. I think he was in the final group. It was Sunday/Monday when it got rolled over. The North Course, and I'll make more have mentioned this on the DraftKings show. That's where you want to do your DraftKings showdown the first 2 rounds. You got your eyes just lit up. What's going on?
I cannot believe just this site. It's like, I don't want to give it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. They don't have odds.
It's okay. You'll be able to bet at a later date. Maybe an hour from now.
It's annoying me. I want to make the bet.
I think you'll be okay.
See, skin in the game, folks.
You might want to stop refreshing your phone. You're just doing this.
I'm listening to you give the breakdown.
It's one thing for you to be listening to me doing it. It's another thing where you're sitting there
doing
my eyes
did bulge out. I'm trying to just see what's going on, okay? I'm shopping through coupons.
Let the people know now. Who do you want to bet?
Oh, we got to protect our bet, and I didn't make it yet.
I already bet Gary Woodland. That's what you're looking for, and you're looking for a better number than you currently see him at.
Yeah, and I've been kicked off that site.
Well, there's another site. There's a whole bunch of sites you can bet on. Unfortunately, we don't have access to DraftKings Sportsbook up here, but hopefully soon with new legislation passing. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the rollout's going to be on that, but I assume it's coming at some time soon. Anyway, if you're playing on DraftKings, play the North Course, guys. No one since 1983 has shot over par at the North Course and won this tournament. And for like 8 straight years, people who started at the North Course, I think that's what it was. Yeah, started at the North Course, hadn't won this tournament. It was like 8 straight winners all started on the South. But back-to-back years, Justin Rose and Mark Leishman end up starting at the North Course and winning this event. So that was interesting to see. Driving distance, around the green, irons. Those are your 3 things this week. Obviously, Snedeker has won here twice, so you can putt your way to a victory. Leishman putted his way to a victory last year. Irons and putting. Could not drive the ball for shit last year. In fact, he hit it so far to the right on most drives, he hit it over all the hazards to where the gallery had been standing, and actually got a good lie because everything was tramped down instead of being in the thick rough. So there's myriad ways you can attack this course. I wouldn't suggest that is the best way to go about it, but it worked for Mark Leishman last year, so we'll see how it goes. Odds-wise, Johnny Rahm is at the top, coming off a WD because of an injury as it came out. He's 7-1 to win. Rory played overseas, came 3rd last week, 850. Xander 11-1, who Cust is using as his one and done. Tony Finau 16-1. Harris English 20-1. Those are your 5 favorites in this tournament, 20-1 and below. Are you worried about Rahm? He hurt himself in the gym last week. That's why he pulled out of the AMEX.
A little bit. I mean, it's a short number to begin with. You don't like betting anything that low with like any sort of concern. Like when I make a bet like that, it's usually like at a guy, 6-7-1 in a golf tournament, Pat? That bet comes with like I'm betting a football game type stakes.
How so? It's 7 times higher than the odds that you would get on a football game. So it would be 1/7.
So sort of 4. Yeah, I don't know. Like a football game, I don't bet a golfer at 7-1 for like $150.
You don't?
No, I bet it big. Okay. Like, or I'd rather just make a card full of other golfers.
Okay.
And they're like trying to sound snobby, but like if Rahm wins, I don't miss like shit, man. Like I miss that big score. Like no.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not betting him at 7-1, but he scares the shit out of me. And I guess I'll cheer for him to win if he's in it, because all that will do will like bump everyone's U.S. Open odds up. If he wins this tournament.
That is true. Because I think he's the second favorite to win here later on this year. I mean, he has an immaculate record at this course.
I think I picked him in our preview show to win 2 majors. So I love John Rahm, but I just don't want to bet him at 7-1 with any question mark of an injury.
I think the fact that he's playing this week shows that the injury was he probably didn't want to play the American Express too. Knowing that he had this coming up, you're like, I tweaked my back. Like Charlie Hoffman still listed in the field, and he fucked some people on DraftKings this week. He made the cut. He was all good to go and withdrew the 3rd round. Killing. And it wasn't like there was a high 6-6 percentage last week anyway. Thoughts on Rory? What happened to him on Sunday? Classic Rory Sunday. He's proof that Finau is eventually going to win like 10 times.
Well, it's hard to make the comparison with Rory because there's like a trophy case. Like
True,
even,
but he's just in contention so often.
Even
that
someone
he just
was
gets
like,
wins.
Sergio was a loser and he finally broke through. It's like Sergio probably had like 30 career wins before he won his major. I might be exaggerating on the wins, but like Sergio, like right, like he had a full trophy case despite not winning a major. It's like a totally different question about like the player.
Oh, absolutely. Like Sergio had like regular PGA wins. He won the Players, and he
sure
had a whole bunch of Euro wins.
Yeah, and like probably had been to like already like 10 Ryder Cups by that point too. But yeah, I guess Rory can look to Rory's Sundays. It just shows tremendous ability to be in contention. I don't know. I defend Rory by saying golf's hard, winning's hard. So I defend Finau the same way. I understand they don't have the same resume.
So Finau's at 16. I hate those odds.
What would you bet Finau at?
25.
Because there are like 20, 22s.
22 is not a terrible number. I really do think this course sets up a lot better for him than last week's, and he played well last week.
I mean, if you really do hate Finau and think he'll choke on Sunday, but is really good, just bet the 20-1 and cash out Sunday morning.
Yeah,
when he's like 5.
But they won't even give you 5.
I'm just... I don't hate Finau as much as the number is really hard to swallow, and I don't see myself betting it. Anything above 20, I think, is kind of fair.
I think it's fair just for the amount that he's in contention. That you think 1 in 20 times he pulls it out. But 16's not a great number here.
It's the same number last week on a much harder course.
Against a much weaker field. Or
weaker field?
It was a weaker field last week. Yeah.
So that's when, but again, we acknowledge his chances of winning are literally equal. Although you might say, equal to 0.
Yeah. Harris English, 20-1.
Congratulations, Harris. You done it.
That's a fairer number on him than it is on Finau.
You done it, man. I don't care. Good for him. Great. Georgia kid. Let's go.
But
love seeing this rejuvenation.
But
I'm not betting it.
I'm not going to bet it either. But I think this is part of it, though. Like you kind of, it seems like you're scoffing at the 20-1 Harris English number, but like, oh yeah, Finau at 16. I mean, I can get behind that potentially. And English has won way more on tour and more recently, and played way better.
I'm not scoffing at it. I'm just like, we're here. Like it's part of what happens when you do what he does, and then you finally chalk a win on it. You get to be this number at Torrey Pines. I think you should shop that.
Yeah, I've seen better numbers.
You should shop that. You can get a good kick higher on At least a field goal and a safety you could add to that 20.
10 of the past 12 winners at Torrey Pines have had a top 10 finish beforehand. The only two that didn't were Scott Stallings when he won here. Scott Stallings plays this course really well, by the way. Remember, he lost in that playoff to Jason Day a few years, not the first time Jason Day won, and he won in 2014. And Rahm didn't have a top 10 before he won in his first appearance of this course 4 years ago. But the next range of guys, so we're not touching anyone down there, right?
No, but no.
Okay.
Finau, I think, is very live.
Sounds like you want to bet Tony Finau.
I can't. I'll just be happy for him.
Okay.
Really happy for him. And we can stop talking about it.
Hideki's 22-1. Reed's 22. I think I maybe made a little note there. Hovland 30, Day 33, Horschel 33, Scheffler 33, 35, Wolf 35, Brooks 35, Sungjae 35. Then you got Leishman, Scott, Palmer, and Bubba all at 40 and 45 to 1. I wish we had seen Bubba Watson play before this, but he's won this tournament before. He was top 10 here last year. If you just go look at metrics, his second half of last year was pretty untouchable. Except guy couldn't make a putt to save his life, but now we're back on Boa. Maybe there's a place where Bubba can get a win. Seems like a deep number for him. I think that he's someone who's going to win people money this year. It's been a few years since he won the 3 times, and he still has that in him, I feel.
I agree. And it seems like we've sort of lost this, having the success here before and a good number. We're almost to like auto check marks you needed, but I got no problem with Bubba. I'm just, I might not have known how to use the internet.
Was it loaded the entire time?
Might have been there the entire time. Because I also timestamped my complaint. So people might be able to say, you're an idiot, man. I was doing something at 11 a.m. there. Just putting that out there, I might not know how to use the internet properly. I might have been stuck in the European Tour section, which I thought might have been an all golf section. Skin in the game, folks. No phony.
Brooks is 35.
Did he look? I
didn't think that he looked bad at the American Express. He put a few in the water, it wasn't a hero's effort from Brooks. But we're starting to get in that territory where it's a very bettable number again.
Very bettable. Because you do feel he's going to catch you a taste at one of these big numbers they keep hanging.
And this feels like a big enough field for him. If you want to play that narrative, if we're going to play the Finau, he doesn't have the mental fortitude to really close. And Brooks is only really in it when there's a lot of
this is a
stakes
major venue, so he's going to
against good guys. He's going to really try this.
And then if he comes in third, people will be like, oh, you let it off the hook to save it for the major. Because he didn't need this right, it's a beautiful little trophy. Doesn't look like most. It's a small little trophy with a Torrey Pine on it.
Very nice.
It ain't no big jug like that. But I don't mind that. I think last year, Pat, I bet Hideki here at 40.
Yeah, we're getting Hideki at 22. I've seen 33s out there on him in some spots.
And this is almost the Hideki, don't play well this week because I want to bet you want to bet you in Phoenix.
Hideki led tee to green at Sony. I mean, this isn't new for Hideki. Dude couldn't make a putt. He's played well here in the past. There's a bunch of guys in this range. Hovland hasn't played this course, at least professionally.
I bet Hovland to win Houston at 28, and it feels really silly having to need the same number, but I guess that's what happens when you win and you're really good, right? That comes with the territory.
Do you think it's odd that Hovland has shorter odds than someone like Wolf?
There is a big Wolf thing this week.
I see it. I mean, I was on Wolf here last year. He could not putt or chip to save his life. That is the big factor when I look back into the previous year's numbers. There's the top 10, having the experience at Torrey Pines seems to go a long way unless you're John Rahm. And you need to be good around the greens. If you're not good around the greens here, these greens at Torrey Pines South are so small that you have to be able to get it up and down. Now, either you're a really good around the green player and have a really good short game, that doesn't matter, or you need the experience in this Kikuyu rough, as we're going to hear 8 million times on the broadcast, and we'll hear it at Riviera in 2 weeks' time, that there's just a different level of experience that you need at some of these places. And I mean, Hovland's bad around the greens anyway. He's improving, but he's not good. Same as Wolf. Wolf's not good around the greens. And that would give me a bit of pause with both these guys. That's what sunk Wolf last year. Wolf came 21st, I think, last year. But, I mean, prototypically, he hits the ball a fucking mile. He's good with his irons when he's on. And the ball striking was good for him on the weekend at American Express. He couldn't putt.
You're 100% right. But it's sort of like how, we talk at the beginning with Finau. Like, it really just comes down to, in my opinion, bad luck, and he's not a good putter, and Sundays you have to putt. Remember watching last year, Pat? I was fortunate enough to hit the Leishman ticket. On Sunday, he must have hit like 5, 8 to 12-foot par putts. It was crazy what was happening on Sunday, and that's like how you win 88% of these suckers.
Potentially, that was a big outlier for this tournament in particular, just going back again and looking at it. So 10 of the past 15 winners at Torrey Pines have finished inside the top 30 in driving distance for the year. Leishman was like 132. And how did you do it? Like when you look at Snedeker's wins and you look at Leishman's win, like, oh, how did they do it? You pull it up, 8.7 strokes gained putting. And that's going to win. Like that's going to win you tournaments. That's just not something you can count on, gaining that many. And that's over 3 rounds because the North Course doesn't have shot link.
My point, I guess, to tie it back around was being like, can Victor do that?
Maybe.
Or just be forced to not have to because he's putting for birdie from 20 feet all week.
That's the move. Or get it up and down to 5 feet and make all those putts. Yeah, but Leishman was making everything. And he bogeyed the 71st hole. It was like, uh-oh. It was fine. I have one bet in this range. I bet Palmer at 50.
You didn't bet Wolf?
I didn't bet Wolf, no. I haven't yet. I might. I'm considering him. I like him a lot here. I don't like those odds.
No, our boy Epath called his shot like a week ago.
I like him next week, by the way.
So Epat called his shot last week to say, no, all you like American Express Wolfies, like, no, you save that for Torrey, and you're here saying Wolf and Phoenix actually does work. That can be a short number, I think.
It might be. And
unless is Justin showing up?
Justin's still overseas, isn't he? Isn't he playing this week again?
I didn't see him on the odds board.
Okay, then maybe he's coming back. I don't know.
Because I saw it was Hatton led by then.
Well, we're gonna get next week. I mean, I don't know if Brooks is playing or not, but he usually plays Phoenix. So you'll get Rahm, you'll get Brooks, you'll get Webb, you'll get Finau,
Fowler, and
Hideki, who will be overinflated in the market because they've just played really well in Phoenix in the past. There's 7 guys who are probably ahead of Wolf in the betting board, so he's probably 30 next week. I do agree that this tournament should shape up really well for him.
This one,
yeah.
Well, I mean, the guy plays really good at those U.S. Open PGA layouts, and historically, is one of one, and this is one of the. I mean, his skill set will work here, especially if the rough is not like even major championship rough.
Oh no!
Everything he does will play for him to have a successful week.
I don't know if I could say, hey, there's Matthew Wolf at 33-1. There's Brooks Koepka at 35.
So then isn't it even, you're comparing Wolf and Hovland, then isn't it silly to even see Scheffler having the same number as Wolf? Shouldn't Wolf be ahead of Scheffler?
Yes, I would completely agree. I still can't understand why Billy Horschel is 33-1 at this course. But the odds are just, I find very confusing this week. Like, I'm far more interested if these are the numbers we're going off of, and shop around, you can find some better numbers in other places, but this 40 range, like 40 to 60 range, does it for me way more. Like, I think I'd rather take the 4 collection of Leishman, Scott, Palmer, and Watson almost versus all of the guys from 20 to 40 above them. Wouldn't you?
Leishman, Palmer, Scott, and Watson. The only one I really like that I think I'm betting of the group is Scott.
Scott was second here. He's played it once in the past 5 years. He was second.
And he's played once in the past month, which is all I need.
Twice in the past month.
We're ready to win.
But, like, why not?
That might be too much golf.
Leishman's played really well tee to green in his first 2 events. He's coming back to a place where he just won, and he's still 40-1. And go back and look at who's won this tournament. Outside of Stallings, very few scrubs on the list.
Oh, you don't scrub here.
Leishman, Rose,
Rahm,
Day are your past 5 winners.
Boom.
Are we overlooking Jason Day? He's working with Como now as a swing coach.
Done bringing that up. As someone that drafted Day in our league, I mean, maybe this is just a 2-time champion thing that he's getting a bump here, but I'm excited to see where he is on an odds board. We saw Life last time we saw him, but it's been a while.
Did we? When did we last? I can't recall when we last saw him. It was last year sometime.
Masters? I don't even. Leading into the Masters and the Masters, he showed like he's human. Well, sorry, Jason Day can withdraw and leave at any moment. But
let's see. Jason Day was 12th at RSM, 7th in Houston, missed the cut at the Masters. Remember he was like destroying Sherwood and then withdrew in the final round?
Yes, Pat. My point, all I'm trying to say is I might bet Jason Day. I don't think so, but I'm going to bet Adam Scott. And I will take Scott at a bigger number than all those guys.
I was surprised that his number is that low.
And yes, Day has won here twice, and he deserves that cred. But Adam Scott is class player, and he's second here last year. That's enough for me.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
The biggest thing with Scott right now, if I was going to try to make a case against him, obviously the putting is always a case against him, but that's neither here nor there if the ball striking is really good. The approach was really bad at Sony. That tends to be pretty good. He had been trending much better than he was like mid-season and even before the pandemic started. But his chipping has been god-awful. And that kind of worries me for an event like this, where you have to get it up and down. And if you're Adam Scott and your short game is bad anyway and you're leaving yourself the Leishman 12-footer, Adam Scott's not making all the 12-footers. He's just not.
Well, guess what? I'm going to assume, Pat, this is one of those 10 tournaments that Adam Scott deems worthy. Right?
Hopefully.
Didn't he say that? We got 10 or 12 tournaments that are important, and the rest you can do whatever you want with.
Well, the last time he played in a few tournaments that matter, let's see, 34th at the Masters, 38th at the U.S. Open.
It's not perfect. It's 40-1, all class. I'd rather bet him than the 4 players you listed below at 33-1.
Even Day?
Day's the one I'm thinking about, but I will pull the trigger on Scott, and I will think about Day.
I think I'd rather bet at the same number. I think at this point, I'd rather bet Leishman than Scott here.
I'm not arguing that at all.
But I like Palmer the
I'm
best.
trying to remember, because as I've joked and I said a couple times, I did that sort of show with Skylar on my show on FTN where we went through those
Futures?
Odds that had the past winners. And we didn't trying to remember what they had Leishman at. I bet you it was higher than 40.
It had to have been, considering he was... I bet him at 80-1 to win the Sony Open 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it had to have been higher than 40, and we've already seen some. I mean, we have already seen some blind value in those based on what Cameron Smith went off at, and some of the other ones. I'm going. Aussies, both Aussies, but I guess we're talking about a trio of Aussies.
Well, I mean, we've seen Aussies and internationals in general do really well with this tournament. Like when I said all class players, all those class players I listed off, all international players. What would the number have to be for Bubba?
I could think about it now.
At 45? Because
you could
find a 55 that I've seen.
Okay, sure. And that sounds great. But I am liking this like veteran card here. Like a Scott, a Day, a Bubba. Like all this love for the kids. I don't know, Pat. Like in my mind, you could even put Leishman on that, and your boy Ryan Palmer's a vet. I don't know. I like the hardened vets in this range at the moment.
Okay.
Although that kid Sungjae goes to any course and performs, and he doesn't even have had to have played there before.
What happened to him on the weekend?
He just got cocky, and then the tournament went away from him because he's never not going to play for a flag.
Yeah, he put it in the...
That's it.
He did the same water move Finau did, but the day before.
Or like Rahm at the Players, except in a less high-profile situation. Like, he didn't take the caddy's advice. If you were watching it live, the guy's like, play open. Play to the open. We'll get out of here. We'll save par. You're, like, tied for the lead. Like, you go win the tournament and the other 27 holes left.
Yeah.
He wanted to make a birdie on an easy hole. Or I don't know what he was trying to do, because birdie was been... You're lying 3 in that sand. How are you making birdie from 230 out? Really undisciplined play, but he doesn't give a shit. So he lost, like, I don't know. He bought a home. Do you see? He lives in Atlanta
Atlanta now, yeah.
Roots.
Surprised he didn't do
Strange place.
I thought
right?
he'd do Florida for the taxes.
I thought he would do California or Texas, being a Korean, the West Coast.
Yeah,
is
no one does California.
Texas then, Vegas.
Vegas would be the
No,
move.
like a lot of the Asians are out of Vegas. Just
Well,
great
no tax.
Well, it's also a great. It's not California, but you have an international airport that can get you anywhere quickly.
True.
That's
they,
what
they have direct flights.
That's why they love Orlando. A lot of the Englishmen, because of Disney, they can wife call. You get home that instantly. You don't have to wait. Oh, we have like 8 flights a week. Sorry.
Did you know Scheffler changed his clubs before last week?
Didn't know.
Yeah, didn't know that until he had missed the cut in all my DraftKings lineups. Fun times. All right, next tier, 200 to 1. Got Coke Rack. Cam Smith, I think, is super interesting here. Feels like the shine was off of him a little bit. How did he end up playing? At Sony, he didn't play all that well.
He was my one and done. He was like fine, and then he didn't have a good Sunday, but he was never winning. But he was like 8 or 9 under going into Sunday.
64th last year, 9th the year before, 20th the year before that, 33rd the year before
So just
that.
like naming the other Aussie. What's up?
He's been playing so well that maybe he's the Aussie that we should give the look to. It's not like he's short off the tee.
I just want to.
You want to do what? Is there more people you want to talk about?
No, the players, the Aussies that we just spoke about, you can get a 50 on Scott. Or
Okay.
somewhere we
Yeah,
like
like you
to
said,
play.
you should look around. Because, I mean, even Cam Davis, I think, is super live here as well. Just build the all-Aussie card.
That guy, he is like the scorching. You see it.
Well,
Like I've
to
bet
the-
on him before. I didn't have money on him this week, but like this guy gets in one of, and all these guys are good and they're pros. When they get in one, they're in one. But this guy, man, you could see this guy stealing someone's trophy on a Sunday one day from the pack because he gets in one.
It's a lot like Homa, except he doesn't make ridiculous triple bogeys out of nowhere.
Did he lead in total birdies?
He had to have, because he still finished like 21st or something like that.
At least he led in total birdies for like 90% of the tournament, I would assume, if he didn't end up finishing ahead. Because he made numbers multiple times.
Yeah, he was fine in the water. He was putting the lights out through 3 rounds.
He made the
though.
triple and then still got back to the top. That's what also impressed me about Finau on Saturday. Doubles 13, and then the day's still over, and he gets them all right back and then won. Good, whatever.
So as we go to 100 to 1, I bet Woodland already at 75 to 1 with the top 5 each way.
We're protecting our U.S. Open at Torrey Pines 100 to 1.
And I bet him last week. I bet him and Molinari at 100 to 1 last week. I bet Woodland 70 last week. Molinari at 100 to 1. All I wanted to see if they were back, and all signs with Woodland pointed to him being Gary Woodland again. He just, and in true to form fashion, hammered it off the tee. Great on his approaches. Couldn't make a 5-foot putt to save his life. Yeah, that happens when you bet Gary Woodland. But we're getting him back on a California course. He looks like he's back up to full speed. He's had success at this tournament in the past. He tends to linger here. I just think it's a really deep number compared to, I mean, Ryan Moore is basically the same odds as he is. Ryan Moore is not winning this event, I hate to tell you.
Moops.
Yeah.
I'm betting Moops.
No. So I like him a lot. Zalatoris is in here too. Zalatoris should play this tournament really. This seems like a good Zalatoris course. Like if you don't want to eat the Wolf odds and Hovland odds because they're really short, you can grab what is he here? He's 66. I've seen him as low as 80 in some spots. He has the kind of game, and like he just played really well at the U.S. Open. Like, he has a real game, and I think this course can suit him really well.
I'd like to see him next week.
We probably will. He has unlimited sponsor exemptions.
That'll be a number.
They can't give them to Rafael Campos every single week.
That'll be a number. There's someone in this range I got to ask you about.
Ricky?
I'll never give it up. No.
Because Ricky sucks at this tournament every year.
No, it wasn't Ricky. I didn't think that number was high enough. You got to see an 80 in front of Ricky to consider it. But you got to know who like the next name out of my mouth is.
Let's say Ricky comes 19th this week. What are his odds next week in Phoenix? Do you get better or worse than 20? It has to be like 30, right?
Who's there? Rom is there.
We went through all the guys who were there.
It's got to be, but it might not.
But it might not be.
It might not.
Like he will be priced at a number that is unbettable, then he'll win. That's what's going to happen. Spieth's here this week, by the way. I don't even think he's 100 to 1, is he? Where is he?
Okay, you see Spieth, and then you'll see the guy I want to ask you about.
I don't have control F on this like very poorly printed out sheet.
He's 80-1. He's there. He's 2 under more.
2 under more.
So Alex Noren.
Oh, I thought you were gonna. I much prefer Sam Burns here. Like, this isn't Noren from 3 years ago. It's just not.
He played well last week.
Did he? Noren
Played fine.
did he even make the cut?
Yeah. Come on. Shot tracker lied. Told me he made an eagle, and then they took it away.
He came 40th last week at the American Express.
Where did he tee off on Sunday? Must have had a shitty Sunday. I don't know. I'm seeing 140-1. I can't.
It's not for me. I get it.
Hold on.
He's lost.
I don't want to lie.
He got JB Holmes here in the past. I had
125-1.
I would actually have far more interest in Sam Burns.
I bet Sam Burns last week, so I should let him screw me again.
I mean, he had a really bad first round of the season, and then he came back and shot 7 under on the stadium course the next day. And still missed the cut, but he has the skill set that you want here. He's a bomber. He's pretty good with his irons. He can get. You always prefer him on Bermuda greens over anything else, but at almost triple digits, he's the right type of player for this course. Where Noren needs everything, especially this incarnation of Noren, where he's not a top 15 player in the world anymore. We don't see that consistency from him. He needs absolutely, not to say that Burns doesn't need everything to go absolutely right, but for Noren to get back up to that level, he's going to need to chip in 3 times. It's really tough for him to manufacture a win at this tournament, I think. My guy, Johnny question mark, 66-1. I'm not going to bet John Hunt 66-1, but continues to play well. Couldn't make a putt on the weekend either. But instead of Noren, who is someone down in that range that kind of fits the skills a little bit better? I'm betting List this week. I got him at 200.
Life
at a Luke List. The chipping is back. The driving is back. Let's go. Let's go, Luke List. I'm in.
Sucked you back in.
Sucked me back in. Well, it's not like I ever stopped betting on him. I just stopped publicly betting on him.
You were 100% right in your EVR assessment last week.
All the birdies and then triple bogeys.
You literally know this course that just landmines will just eat him. And he's going all right for a bit. And then I looked at it he's 6 over or something.
And then he battles back and makes 5 birdies in a row. He's a really weird player.
I guess we got to give love to Molinari just showing up. He'd been living in Cali, moved the family out to Cali. I guess he's comfortable in Cali.
Don't love this course for him.
Yeah, this might not be the course, but
give him a look next week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet you he shows up next week.
Pebble's a really good course for Molinari, I feel like. Short course, get your irons out, get your wedges out, small greens, get dialed in.
Did Woodland play Sony?
No. That was the first time we saw Woodland.
So he's gonna, so he'll play next week also. He won.
And he's one of the. He won 2 years ago. I'm guessing he'll play
a couple more than 2, and he had that great moment with the girl.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Year, yeah.
Well, we'll be seeing that from the PGA. That will get more views than the Pat Mayo video on the PGA Tour Twitter account. I'm sure they'll be aired everywhere because they always keep in touch too. They always. I don't know if they'll be able to play together this year.
I like that also though how the joke early in the week before we got the announcement this week about the PGA Tour show and the substream. Was how the PGA Tour was looking into doing gambling responsibly PSAs and the hundreds of writers' room jokes that unfunny ones, most of them that were spinning around in my head at the concept of it. But yeah, so what about Richie Warinsky then?
Richie Warinsky. Sell me, please.
I don't
know. Are you just saying names to say names? If you want to say a name, tell me about them.
Does he not have that Luke List profile that you could take into this course? I'm just saying guys in that range with the profile. I'm not betting them. I do I could be a sucker for List though.
Does Warinsky?
My action's gonna be
Does Warinsky have that profile? Is he a bomber who can't putt?
He just hits it far at altitude.
I don't know. I've never. Maybe you're right. He does gain a bunch driving distance wise, but.
He played well last week.
I in my mind, Richie Warinsky isn't a bomber by any means, is he?
I don't know. He won the Stableford at altitude, so maybe that's not fair. But I believe he hits it quite a mile, but I could be wrong. My perception could be off there. But I was just going by guys that had that sort of big hitting profile that showed life.
Werenski is 82nd in this field in driving distance.
That's probably not. What's List?
List is third.
Get it.
The iron showed up for him last week, too.
What about your boy Gim Reaper?
I don't know.
Might not be the track. I'm really into this like 30 to 50 range.
Gim is 56th in driving distance. I'm so glad I didn't give up on him last week. Went back to the well with old Gim. Showed up. The top 10 in driving distance at this course. When we haven't even talked about Cameron Champ coming off his terrible week.
Well, I guess there's a lot of similarities there between him and Burns and sort of how people got burned. No pun intended. And now the number's bigger. The field is harder. The course is harder. But the profile is same. And you can make the case this place actually suits Cameron exponentially better than last week where he seemed to be pretty popular.
He was. I liked Cameron Champ last week, too. He was in the race for the Mayo Cup. I used him as a one and done. Not a great pick. Him or, who's the other loser? Kevin Na I went back to. We got him at 1% ownership. That's what I want. One of the top 10 favorites at low ownership. Let's go. But Champ, Brem, List, Rory, Will Gordon, Brandon Hagee, Sam Burns, Tony Finau, Wyndham Clark, Grayson Murray are your top 10 in driving distance in this field over the past 50 rounds. Then it's like McCumber, Vegas, coming off COVID, Patrick Rogers, Matthew Wolf, Scott Harrington, Rahm.
I thought Fratelli would have been higher.
Cam Davis, Zalatoris, Brooks. And then it gets into like JB, Bubba, Kokrak, Homa, Adam Scott.
I guess a better guess at trying to like find someone in that Luke List range and or profile at all, Fratelli.
Yeah. I'm so lukewarm on Fratelli.
Listen, this is pointless because we've already done the thing that the only like class wins here.
Yeah. But what
it's fun to bet the Luke List on the top ways, just like our boys in Euro hit Lipsky with places will play more than your Rory and Xander winning tickets.
No, I agree.
I'm not dismissing any part of that.
It's not so much that part of it. I'm just trying to look at the one thing that you have to realize too is that, yeah, these are the names that we consider, like, we go back and look at, like, holy shit, like, look at the names that have won this tournament. When Rahm won, Rahm was a highly touted guy, but this was his first win.
Still, it fits perfectly.
But, like, if Zalatoris wins, who's to say that Zalatoris isn't a top 10 player 2 years from now?
Okay, exactly, sure. If any of those young players win this week, Pat, we'll be able to, like, fit them in the narrative of, oh, no, they're, like, supreme class or supreme prospect.
Well,
so that works with the narrative of really good player.
Well, the only one that I really wanted to talk about from like way down on the list,
like, is he even on the paper I have, or
no? He's not. He's not on the paper. Where the hell are his odds? I have to look for his odds. Keep scrolling. There he is, 350 to 1. Andy Ogletree.
He crushes it.
He does. He's a U.S. amateur champion. Played well at the Masters. Like, why not? Andy. Both of the past two U.S. amateur champions are in here.
Okay, so now I've scrolled to a place that's off the page, and
34th at the Masters, 46th at Mayakoba. I'm not saying necessarily like bet him to win at 350 to 1, but his top 20 odds might be pretty spicy. You're probably looking at like 15 to 1 to come inside the top 20, and he does hit it a fucking mile.
Oh boy,
who are you looking at?
I just Neesmith.
Oh, Neesmith was so bad last week.
Very bad.
The calendar flipped, and maybe he just lost whatever he had going.
Yeah, Neesmith. And I just lost the number.
How low is Harrington? I'm just thinking about top 20s now.
Neesmith was 300.
McCumber, 350 to 1. He's a profile type player here.
Whoa, 350 McCumber?
Yeah.
I could double that for you.
Okay. I'm just throwing out numbers.
Yeah, I'm just saying you shop.
Bramlett, Sebastian Kaplan, Will Gordon, Scott Harrington. These guys are all going to be legit like 25 to 1 to top 20.
Okay, because I could see I have all of them at a pretty much 1,000 to 1.
Well, I'm not betting them outright. I'm betting them top 20.
So yeah, you'll get your monster top 20s.
Yeah, like there's a case to be made that like play 5 of those guys at 25 to 1, 30 to 1 to come inside the top 20, and one of their skill sets should translate this week. Hoagie plays this course really well for a guy who's not a bomber. He's almost playing like the Snedeker came like 4th here last year or 3rd still.
Crazy.
I don't know how he didn't have a good year. Like he was shit last year, and he still played well here every single time.
Who did Leishman battle on that Sunday?
Rahm and Rory. Like if you go back, and Bubba was 7th. Like everyone was kind of there last year. Looking at the long form, I ran a new model with a heavier weight on driving distance. Rory, Rahm, Xander, Finau, Hideki, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over the past 100 rounds. Over the past 12 rounds, Connors making his debut this season. Siwoo, Rahm, Xander, Bubba, then Zalatoris, Gim, and Burns, and Palmer, your next 4 in the short term. Followed by Harris English.
Interesting. I want to go down the sheet.
How deep?
What do you think about Corey Connors' ability to have a quality week?
Here?
Yeah.
I worry.
I thought the number was incredibly low, and then part of that was like, oh, it's like a point spread. They're like tricking me not to bet it because they think he's going to have a good week.
I would be majorly concerned, and it hasn't been a problem for him recently because the around the green game has gotten a lot better. But if he reverts back, it's like the Hovland thing all over again. Until you really prove it to me. Remember when Xander was awful around the greens? And then he just progressively got better and better, almost like DJ did at the beginning of his career. When the guy could not chip to save his life, then he becomes one of the better around the green players on tour. You can really work on that. And we've seen Hovland work on it and get better. We've seen Neiman work on it and get better. Corey Connors is getting better around the greens, but like sometimes you just look at it and be like, I don't need you standing in the bunker on this one, pal. Like, I just feel like a win for Connors at this course, especially not being a bomber, which he is not. He has good distance, but he's a bit more of the Morikawa type player off the tee. He's going to hit a lot of fairways, which is great. He's a great iron player, but the guy can't chip or putt, and that's a real problem here.
Better suited for Florida.
Or Phoenix.
Maybe Phoenix. Missed the cut.
Missed the cut this week, Corey. We'll get on you next week.
And would the Masters be the last time Louis played?
Did he not play in like Race to Dubai? I totally forgot Louis was in this field. Do you think he'll ever win in America?
It's so funny because you could have the same conversations about like him and Finau, except he has a claret jug. So
yeah, he has a major.
You're not allowed to talk about it. But he gets made fun of plenty. Like
he hasn't won since 2018, and I assume that was like the Joburg Open.
The thing about Louis though is you can make 3 tournaments worth of Louis bets for the same cost it takes you to make 1 tournament of Finau bets.
Exactly. And he's deep enough that if you do the placements as well, that he tends to cash those.
So like you guys like to make fun of Ulrich, Jeff, right? Because he's like Louis fanboy, always loves to bet Louis, but it doesn't. You can get away. You got the jar of Louis allocation can last a lot longer than getting stuck in a Finau well.
Yes, no,
trust
absolutely.
me about it. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, and he has top finishes at a lot of these.
Everywhere.
Like, he's almost like Mini Brooks when the field is strong.
Mini Brooks.
When the field is strong and it really matters, Louis puts in a performance.
This is a good field. I just don't. You might have answered the question.
He played RSM after the Masters and missed the cut.
So he's just warming up.
Yeah, him, Day, Connors, Spieth, Bubba all haven't played yet. Harold Varner hasn't played yet.
Day is literally going to be so shit or 4 under through 6 holes, right?
I was considering,
but that's worth betting on. Like, if my 2 options are amazing or shit from an outright perspective, I have no problem betting you outright.
Good California player, too. He's won here twice. He's won Pebble.
I'm seeing some bigger numbers at places where available to us.
Well, you're going to find, I bet you're going to find bigger numbers on almost every single one of these guys, depending on where you look.
Bet at DraftKings.
There we go. All right. Quick picks.
I got 2 bets in.
Hit me.
Adam Scott, 49-1. Gary Woodland, 75-1.
Okay. I have bet Ryan Palmer at 50-1. I will go shopping for a better number than that, though. So you said it. One of the places I like to bet, I can cash out my money if I find a better number somewhere. And that one stays the same. And I have bet Gary Woodland 75-1 with the top 5 each way. And I bet Luke List 200-1 with a top 5 each way. And now you're just like, you realize it's very distracting, right?
It is, but somewhere I see these new numbers, and it's like, how are you doing that? I'm just being real. I'm not being phony. I'm sorry there's a light on, and I should be fake to get us through the show.
Or you could just pretend like we're doing a show together, and you're just not off in your own fucking world. You got to understand it's incredibly frustrating, right?
See a huge Matsuyama number.
How big? 40?
35?
Okay, I've seen 33 in a bunch of spots. One and done picks for the week. Tim chose first. Both ya guys missed the cut last week, but Tim gets picked first anyway. He's picking Xander as his pick. I had Answer, who came 5th, I think. So I shall roll with, for the purposes of our show's one and done, I am going to take Tony Finau. Why not? Who are you taking?
That's a really good pick.
Thank you.
Tim took Xander. You took Finau. Hideki. Maybe he'll pop the week before everyone is counting on him to pop.
Do you think that he ends up being very popular next week? He has to be, right?
There is no world in which he isn't popular next week.
What about, and do you think that people will use Ricky in one and done?
Next week?
Yeah. How well would he have to play this week for people to be like, oh, Ricky's back?
He had a couple nice rounds. He never plays well at Torrey. You mentioned that earlier. Never.
He usually comes from, I feel like he comes from overseas a lot, though. He didn't this year.
Didn't.
Rory seems to be the only, did Louis play last week over there?
I don't know, maybe.
Because Rory's the only one I can kind of peg that did that. Anyway, that'll do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. 2 ways to get into a draw for $100. 1, subscribe, rate, and leave a 5-star review on the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. Include your Twitter handle or email in it so I can contact you if you indeed are the winner of that. And Mike Ruvalo is giving away $100 if you subscribe to Mayo Media Network on YouTube and just tweet at me, say, hey, I did it, and boom, you're in that draw. Maybe we'll give that one away on Wednesday. So Ruby can send you the money. You can play in one of these $100 single entries or something like that. Try to win some bucks, all right? Go check out the research show that I did already up on the feed at Mayo Media Network. Play in the DraftKings Listeners League. Link is in the description. And go to fantasynational.com/Mayo. Right now, get yourself 20% off, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!